There I was, in the front of the boat. It was wonderful to be out of the rain. I sat on the bed and took off my trousers and the vicar's hefty coat. I could still hear him and Billy G talking in the saloon next door. If they were to find me, I would be literally caught with my pants down. The forepeak had 2 berths, which were laid out in a V shape, so that one person sleeps on either side of the boat and your toes play tickle your partner in the middle. Those with a boating persuasion will probably know what I mean. And if you don't, it's hardly critical to the enjoyment of the story. Take a day off and go down the boat show in London. What is important is that I was now dry, relatively safe, and as an added bonus, I could still hear the scandal that was going on next door. Unlike the vicar, who had passed over the Music Week articles about the dispute between Billy G and Emma, I'd followed the story blow by glorious blow. So I already knew most of what Billy G was telling him. The essence was as follows. Billy G had decided to fold the band to pursue a solo career, but the other 3 members had decided to continue using the band's name without her. She tried to stop them, supported by Breamore, which is why the rest of the group had left his management company. The recent talk in Music Week was of high court writs and ever-growing legal costs.
Why are you so determined to prevent them from continuing?
The vicar asked. Come on, how chuffed would you be if a group that you'd invented with a name that you thought of went on without you? You're something else, you are. Anyway, I need to hold on to the name. Richard said that if my solo career doesn't take off, I should consider reforming the group. This was news to me. If I was not an honourable, underpaid assistant, I could probably have sold the story to a gossip magazine. And at the present, though, I want a solo career.
More money,
the vicar commented. And more pressure, she said. You never believe what it was like to be all alone, live on national television, miming to a tape that is singing the wrong fucking words. I died. Had there been 4 of us, it would have been a lot easier to handle. In fact, we would probably have stuck our asses up to the camera and acted as if it were all deliberate. It's easier in a group. It's the same with this internet thing. When it's focused all on you, it's so frigging personal. If much more of this happens, I probably will reform the group because it takes the pressure off. Who needs it?
Have you any suspicions about who might be doing it?
No, but some not, maybe. This eavesdropping business was tiring work, so I lay back on the bed with my hands behind my head and settled in for a long, hard listen.
Do you have many?
The vicar asked. Well, my fair share, I suppose. There's a guy in Germany who writes to me every day to tell me what he's been dreaming about and how he's got to spend 5 minutes in a room alone with me. I've had no sexual life since my pacemaker and my artificial heart flap. I'm infinite frustrated, you know the sort of thing. Richard's been trying to get the cops to stop him writing. You also get stalkers whenever you go on tour. For 2 or 3 months, they'll go everywhere you go. They'll be at your hotel before you get there, at the airport before you check in, and at the venue before sound check. Just everywhere. You got to blot them out of your head, darling. Otherwise, it would drive you crazy.
Crazies don't normally have access to studio master tapes and editing equipment.
So, who then? She asked.
You tell me. That's why you are here this evening.
Ah, Richard. I heard the sounds of steps. Breamore must have been rejoining them.
I was asking Billy G who she thinks might be making all this trouble for her. I assume you did not do it.
There was a silence.
Come, my fellow, it's a perfectly simple question, and I shall undoubtedly find out the answer sooner or later, so if it is you, it would be best to get it off your chest now.
There was another silence. I moved over to the door that separated my front cabin from the main saloon and eased it slightly ajar so that I could be able to see the action.
Am I being unreasonable in some way?
Asked the vicar.
Billy G, have I not been entirely fair with him? Was it not a simple question?
Billy G did not answer. We all waited for Breamore. It was a long while before he spoke.
I cannot describe quite how much it hurts to know that you were serious in asking that. I suppose after the crimes I've already committed, it should not surprise me, but it does. Whoever is persecuting Billy G is cruel. I do not think of myself as cruel. Misguided maybe, but not cruel, no. I had nothing to do with it. I know, answered the vicar, but it is good to hear you say so. I asked myself, is this the kind of behaviour true to the Richard Breamore I know? And it was not.
He chuckled.
Whoever is persecuting Billy G is also creative and inventive, not at all like you. I'm not sure whether I should be pleased or insulted. I do not think you would wish to be described as artistic. Artists are very low down on the food chain, well below managers, and in a completely different dining car to record company executives. I suppose Billy G hasn't offended any of them recently.
No, not to my knowledge. You know, I'm pretty good at giving them all the right kind of hand jobs when they deign to visit me backstage. Billy G masturbated an imaginary penis in the air.
Well, I would strongly recommend that you do start offending a few of the blood-sucking little leeches. It is no more than they deserve. But that is a different story, and your manager would strongly disagree with me. Now, Who else might you have offended, pray tell? There was some crackpot outside the studio the other day claiming that you had stolen her song. Oh, there's always someone or other. Which reminds me, Mr. Brainless Breemore. Billy G stood up and stared straight in his eyes. What about my publishing money? I suppose you siphoned that off too. Breemore nodded. Billy G fell back into a seat. 10 minutes late and your dinner's in the dog. But I thought someone else wrote your songs for you. Both the vicar and I asked the same question at the same time, except that my question was in my head as I wasn't exactly part of the conversation, if you know what I mean. Which I assume you do. Oops. Billy G put her hand in front of her mouth. No one's meant to know about that. She acted like a tipsy schoolgirl. It's a secret, you know. She laughed at the vicar. Hey, you got steam coming out of your ears. She patted him on the head. Would your mature pride be absolutely gutted to learn that Emma and I, two incapable little girlies, wrote all those songs? We just called ourselves Benedict Gaydon and Ernest Broom because they got paid more money. The vicar and I mirrored each other's slightly bemused expressions. You know, the closely controlled composition thing. The controlled composition clause, the vicar nodded.
At this point, our expressions parted company, as he knew what she was talking about, and I didn't.
A particularly hideous invention of this caring industry of ours, at least in the US. If you write your own songs, you get paid far less money.
So, we invented two different people, Benedict Gaydon and Ernest Broom, who got paid all the lovely jubbly, Billy G explained.
Smart, the vicar admitted, and no doubt totally illegal. What about Emma? Do you still write with her?
No.
And what about your bass player?
My ears pricked up at the mention of the bass player. I'd been wondering when the vicar would remember that he was surely the prime suspect. Who? Kevin? She asked. Funny you should mention him because he's been spending a lot of time with Emma recently. I think he might be planning to start working on her projects. Bingo! What did I say? The buggery fucking arstic is guilty as sin, just as I said several chapters ago.
A traitor in the camp,
commented the vicar, getting up.
Almost as bad as a spy in the closet. Which reminds me, you can come out now, punk.
He raised his voice and was now talking directly to the door to my cabin. I felt like he was looking straight into my eyes.
Perhaps you can make me a pot of tea. I think that's quite enough snooping for one night. Don't you?
He laughed. I almost pissed myself. There I was, crammed into the cabin, soaking wet, with no trousers on, and he knew that I'd been there all along. I was terrified he was going to push the door open, which was already ajar.
I think my guests are ready to be off now,
he said, still obviously talking to me through the door rather than to them. He was going to throw them out. The man is incorrigible. 1 minute, he's the perfect host, and the next, he's shoving your ass out the door.
It has been ever so exciting, I could hear him saying to them, but I fear we have an intruder, so it might be best to leave now for security reasons. We must do this more often. Perhaps cucumber sandwiches next time, while we make Richard confess to all those awful infidelities, so distressing for his wife.
I couldn't see what he was doing, but, I was struggling to put my trousers back on, but I could imagine him finding the coats and pushing them towards the door. Billy G and Breemore did not say a word. They were probably too shocked to know how to respond.
The vicar's scandal parties, I could hear him continuing. They could become the high point of the social calendar. Perhaps you could oblige us, Billy G, by having a lesbian lover who has inseminated herself with the sperm of your dead grandfather. Something suitably tabloid.
I lost track of the next bit.
And we never got round to those fantastic desserts. Do take one with you. I cannot think what is keeping him. Perhaps he has got some underage girl in there with him. I think under the circumstances, it would be best if you saw yourselves out. Take a torch. I can always get another one. No, please. I insist.
I was now ready to come out, but far too embarrassed to show my face.
I'm sorry to throw you out so suddenly, but I am very tired. Come along, come along. It really has been most exciting. A very good evening to you. Some Chaucer, perhaps, a valediction courtesy of the wife of Bath. I pray Jesus short their lives that will not be governed by their wives, and old and angry misers of dispense, God send them soon real pestilence.
I waited to hear him slam the door shut before creeping out very sheepishly to make yet another pot of Earl Grey tea.
That boy's not cool. He's got ears the size of diamonds, broken nose and a twisted face.
The other day, while I was there, photocopying the Vicar's business plan for these psycho-delicious chronicles, I did a quick photocopy of my what's-it. Yeah, we don't need to talk about that now. Sex! I thought, if the photos I've seen do it justice. Sex! The Vicar said, is what punk is thinking.
That boy's not cool.